I'm here today with Ryan from Prophecy Tattoos, and we are doing the Markup podcast while getting tattooed. So this is something that Ryan said has been done already, but I don't care. I've never done it, so we're doing it today. So Ryan is my most favorite tattoo artist who's been in the tattoo industry for now, over 20 years?
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years. And Ryan specializes in large tattoos, photorealism, color, and grayscale. So welcome, Ryan, to the Markup. Thanks for coming.
Hi.
And we're doing this live from the tattoo shop where I am getting tattooed. So we're going to see how this goes for both of us. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself and your roots to art and how your art transferred to tattooing.
So my wife actually pushed me into tattooing, or suggested I get into tattooing when we were in our 20s and dating for the first time. She saw a bunch of old artwork that I had in old portfolios, and she was like, you know, you draw better than any of the people that are tattooing you. Maybe you should really start doing something with this. And so I had always kind of considered it, but never really considered it as like a career that I could like actually do something with. So I was like, all right, well, you know, we started looking for apprenticeships and stuff, and found one, and then I was kind of off to the races after that.
Awesome. What were some of your first mediums and early inspirations for your art?
I mean, I always drew. Even as a kid, I just always liked projects, and art is just like one big project. There's always something to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, really, like I've always done a lot with pencil and pencil drawings and stuff like that, and I had experimented with like acrylics and watercolor and oil and charcoal, all sorts of stuff over the years. But you know, really, like pencil was probably like the first thing that I really got interested in. It's easy and quick, and you can carry it around in your pocket, so you can draw anywhere.
It's not easy though. I've dabbled in the sketch world with pencils. It is hard and frustrating.
Just once you get the techniques down, the rest of it is 90% of art is like being able to see something and then interpret it, right? Like,
well, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, it's observation and interpretation, and like the 10% of it is the actual technique. You know, you can teach anybody the technique, but
was there a learning curve from when you became an apprentice to a professional tattoo artist?
Sure. I mean, so like outside of just like learning design aspects and stuff, but technique wise, like a tattoo machine is pretty different than like a brush or pencil. I mean, it's probably closer to pencil work than brush work. But you know, there's a very technical side to tattooing, which not like every person that's like has the ability to draw or paint can really always wrap their heads around. You know, the timing, the movement of your hands to like the speed of the machine, and you know, knowing like how deep you're going with the tattoo, and like as far as like when you're stretching the skin, like how much to stretch, how little to get certain effects. And,
would you say that there's a big difference between the tattoos of 20 years ago for you and the tattoos of today?
For sure. I mean, well, people are doing like a lot of different stuff now. I mean, there's wider ranges of pigments and you know, more advanced tattoo machines and things like that. I mean, really, there's nothing wrong with the old ones, but you just I feel like you have a lot more ability to like, you know, I could do all my tattoos with one machine now, whereas like I used to have like 4 set up. So things like that have like really kind of changed the game in terms of how much you can achieve in a sitting, and really just, you know, different advances in like how to take care of your tattoos after, you know, there's like the inclusive bandages, which work for a lot of people, and just, you know, machines that needles that cause less trauma,
So lots
all
of
sorts of
advances in the technologies of tattooing. I mean, it's cool to see too, like the histories of where people are getting still tattooed in like Thailand, the traditional like stick and poke way, to now how you have a wireless machine. It's not plugged into anything. So that's really cool. How about some misconceptions about tattoo artists and clients that have like maybe changed an evolution of that over the years?
I mean, a lot of my clients are professionals in some aspect of their lives. It's kind of like changed from like tattoos seeming like the thing that delinquents did. Like that it was like the rebels were the ones that are getting tattooed. Now everyone's getting tattooed. Sometimes people that shouldn't get tattooed, but
Well, it's true. Like sometimes you see people now that stand out more because they're not tattooed than back in the day where tattoo people were kind of taboo, or like the no work tattoos, the necks and the hands seem to be more popular now.
Yeah, now I have like professionals that work for, I have a couple people that work for ShopRights that, have tattoos creeping onto their hands, or like Dave, like he's a cop.
A police officer with a hand tattoo.
And he's got a little bit on his hand, and he keeps wanting to push that envelope, but
he's still trying to push more. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, how do you think social media has impacted the art and the business?
I mean, the business aspect of it is tough. I mean, I'm sure as you know, it's just been like, it's gotten to the point now where like algorithms and other stuff, and, it's great because it puts you out in front of a ton of people. It's essentially like free advertising.
Yeah.
And for a while it was like really good. You could engage a lot with your clients and stuff, and then now it's just everything's turned to video. So the things that are actually getting attention are things like internet memes and things, because the thing that matters is watch time. There's only so long somebody's going to pause on a tattoo picture versus like how long somebody's going to watch a video. So things like that have definitely been a detriment. But I mean, it's still cool that like you can see people's work from all around the world and get exposed to all different things, and hopefully that helps people like get more ideas for tattoos they want. And it just like shows people what's possible more.
How about like tattoo trends? Do you notice like that there's different trends that like come from social media? I remember like years ago people the Pinterest tattoos,
like the exploding the bird feather or whatever that explodes into like little raven birds, and the infinity signs with like the written word in it. Sometimes it was a person's name, sometimes it was love, or I mean, there's been tons of trends, and you just notice like I do a ton of like tentacle tattoos now, and like octopuses and stuff, and like that all started because I did a painting of a skull octopus. That skull octopus painting, and then somebody was like, "Oh, I want that tattooed on me," so I did that, and then all of a sudden it was like I became the guy that everybody was getting tentacles from. So it's like
lions.
lots of lions, tentacles, But yeah, there's tons of trends like that come and go, and it's more about just like what people see. So lately I've been putting on my like a thing on my mailing list where I started trying to like come up with different ideas, ways of like people that get lions generally want to like show like strength or courage or something like that. So trying to find different ways to symbolize those things for people, or different ways of going about those ideas without just like the quintessential kind of typical tattoos that a lot of people are seeing on Pinterest and stuff like that.
I do think too, and it attributes kind of to like your style of how you do your consult and stuff. It's like someone like me comes in and is like, I want my leg tattooed. I don't know here's like the theme that I want it to be maybe, but then gives you the opportunity to create something, as annoying as that could be sometimes, when I'm like, I don't know what I want, Ryan. You're the boss. But I think that part of what sets you apart too is you can come up with things based off of what people are expressing to you that represents their ideas in a cool way.
Yeah, that's why, like, on my forum for, like, tattoo applications, like, I have a thing where, like, people can tell me, like, their reasons for the tattoo. And I know some tattooers are like, that's exhausting, I don't even want to know, just tell me what you want, you know? But honestly, like, I've come up with, like, cool, neat things that help, like, symbolize things for people just off of, like, those experiences.
Yeah.
This woman Dorian, who I tattooed, got like a little Shop of Horror sleeve, which I still have to get healing pictures of from mine. But it, the story was that she used to watch that movie, I think, with her grandmother, and every time she would watch the movie with her grandmother, she'd get a quarter. And she was telling me the story. I was like, well, then we need to put a quarter in your sleeve.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so like sometimes just little things like that can make things mean a lot. Or just like, just real important, and like it's a lot of times that stuff just ends up giving you like cool ideas for tattoos that you wouldn't normally think of. Like I wouldn't ever normally think of like, oh, let's put a quarter in this, but it adds this cool juxtaposition among all these flowers and these monsters, and then there's this quarter. It's just real neat, and it's not always you don't always get that unless you have a little bit of a deeper conversation about what the person's looking for.
So way different than the days of like going into a shop and picking a number on the wall, saying like, oh, I want that on this part of my body. It's more like creating something that tells a story for somebody, which is why I want you to talk a little bit about like the emotional side of tattooing and like the energetic side of tattooing, and like what you see people have, or people who seek tattoos throughout the years have come to you for.
I mean, all sorts of things. I mean, for some people, tattooing, people always want to attach meaning to like every tattoo, and usually like the first couple tattoos somebody gets, they try and throw all the meaning of their life into like this one sleeve or this one tattoo. And then by the third or fourth tattoo, they're like, I don't know, I think this is just cool. I want to get this now. But really, like, all tattoos have some kind of meaning. Like, you can look back at it as like a marker or a point in your life where you marked your body, and like you'll always remember like, oh, I was, getting tattooed by this person, and this was going on in my life, and I just really wanted to get tattooed. And, so like there's stuff like that, but there's also people that come because like they've had some kind of trauma go on in their lives, and they're using the tattoo as a part of their healing process, or the cover-ups and stuff where like somebody has got like a scar or something that is really bothers them or embarrasses them, and they really want to kind of get past that and decorate their body with something so that they're not so embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah. So on the topic of cover-ups, you did a really cool video that on your Instagram that talks about cover-ups and like the misnomer of cover-ups. So what are some of the most common reason that people come to you wanting their tattoos covered?
Probably the most common, I would say, is just like people that they really want a sleeve or something, and they've got like this old tattoo that's just smack in the middle of what they want, and their concept about what they wanted out of their body. Like they didn't really think of when they got that initial tattoo. They were just like, cool, I want a tattoo, I'm gonna stick it here. I never really thought like, oh, I'm gonna want a sleeve 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road or whatever. So sometimes, like, I would say that's probably the most common thing. I think for a while, one of my coworkers, I think we had worked together for about a year at that point. He was like, do you do any tattoos that aren't cover-ups? Because, like, literally every sleeve I was doing had some big, like, thing stuck in the middle of it that I had to contend with. But outside of that, I mean, it's, sometimes it's somebody's got something that was just done poorly.
Right.
And more often than not, it's like a stylistic difference. Like, somebody gets like a tattoo that, it's just a little dated looking or whatever, and they just really don't vibe with it anymore. And they're like, I can't handle this. Like, I've got a cover up coming up of this big giant tribal thing that's on this guy's shoulder. And he was just like, yeah, he's just kind of embarrassed about it, and like it doesn't fit who he is anymore, and he's just like would really rather get something special, you know.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. But
what are some tips for people considering a large tattoo regarding like placement, timing, and choosing an artist?
I mean, as far as choosing an artist, like the biggest thing is like look through portfolios, like. Make sure like you vibe with the style of the stuff that's in somebody's portfolio.
Yeah, I think
before you even have that conversation.
some people don't realize that like it is an art, so there's a certain style to it, and like I think people will sometimes even ask me like, oh hey, you get tattoos, who do you go to? And they want like a completely different type of style. So yeah,
and most good tattooers, especially if you ever worked in a street shop or something, like you're probably pretty capable of doing a lot of different styles, but like what you showcase on your portfolio is the stuff you like doing.
Yeah.
Unless you just don't have much in your portfolio yet and you're kind of newer. But the things that you put in your portfolio are generally the things that you want to keep doing, and like that's got the biggest amount of your energy into. So like looking through somebody's portfolio and making sure that their style is something that you vibe with. I usually give people like the toolbox analogy, like what's in the portfolio is like that person's toolbox, like and you could give them a different toolbox to try and work with, but it's not going to come out as good unless they're using their tools. So usually that's kind of my suggestion for people as far as like picking an artist. As far as like getting larger scale work, I mean, really like the best tattoos end up being like the simplest concepts. And I've done plenty of tattoos where it's like, a ton of different things collaged together. But really, most of the time what I'll tell people is like, give me like a couple, like 3 or 4 like main things that you're concerned about that you really want on you. Like a couple different concepts that, like whether it's I want a Day of the Dead lady and a skull and roses. And then, you can have a couple other ideas of things that you think are cool, and then you see what you can make work out of it. Usually that's kind of like the better way for me to go about it, is I usually just try and figure out like what's the person's like real priority here, like what is the thing they really want to showcase, and you make sure those elements are very big and readable, and then kind of start looking at like, well, is there other little meaningful things we can stick in here for them, or is it going to hamper the design?
Right.
Because sometimes people come to you with so many different ideas, and you're like, that's like 4 different tattoos.
All right, Ryan, red flags in tattoo shops or bad tattoo decisions. Some red flags.
Red flags as far as tattoo shops go, I mean, really the only thing I can say is like, make sure you feel comfortable. Like if you don't feel comfortable and the people aren't welcoming, then just don't go there. It's not worth like having a bad experience for a tattoo. Even if like you really like the person's work, like if they're blowing you off or like they're not, polite to you, or like they seem kind of just don't do it. Like it's not worth it. I end up doing a lot of cover-ups or like finishing tattoos because people get into a project, thinking that like, I'm not really super comfortable, but I'm gonna go through this anyway, and then they end up with like a horrible tattoo or like something half finished because like the person like ghosted them or like started overcharging them or all sorts of things. So I usually tell people, just go with your gut, make sure you like the person and that you're comfortable. And if you're not, go somewhere else.
True.
Hunt down a different artist. Sort of bad tattoo decisions.
Bad tattoo decisions.
I mean, again, make sure you go to somebody that does the work that you want. There's most of the cover-ups that I have ended up having to fix because somebody isn't happy about the tattoo. Almost all of them are because they went to somebody that wasn't capable of doing the style that they wanted. And if they're in a street shop or they're starting out or they just maybe like, all right, well, I'll just do my version of this. And if if that's not what you're looking for, you're going to be really disappointed.
I have some red flags for taking tattoos off with the laser. Is wedding band tattoos, knuckle tattoos. Everyone, like, there's so many knuckle tattoos that are in the removal process. And probably, like, names. I remove a lot of people's names.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a
red flag.
Yeah, just, you know, if you get somebody's name on you, better make sure it's your relationship's solid for the rest of your life, because otherwise you're going to be stuck with it. I usually tell people, get like a goldfish and name it after the person. And just be like, oh.
Yeah.
Don't tell your laser clients that, though.
Yeah, we won't tell them that. Speaking of tattoo removal, so we talked a little bit about why people come in for a cover-up, so I'll give a little plug on laser tattoo removal. Laser tattoo removal is not a one-time, you come in and we laser the tattoo and it's gone forever. It's a process, and it's usually a monthly or every 2 month type of process where you come in for sessions and we're lightening the tattoo. Full removal takes some time, like sometimes a lot of time. So we have the removal process. I usually will give you a time frame. It takes sometimes up to a year to have a tattoo removed or lightened enough for your tattoo project.
Hey guys, popping in here to remind you to give a like to this episode, and don't forget to follow to stay updated on the latest from the markup.
What do you have to say about, as the tattoo artist, Ryan, what people can expect when they come in for their cover-up after removal, and how the evolution of tattoo removal has helped you?
Really, it just gives people more options. You know, ideally, you just want to make sure somebody's getting a cover-up of something that they actually want, not just like settling for like a big mediocre tattoo that they're not really that excited about just because they think it's going to cover the name or whatever they're embarrassed about, you know. And sometimes like what people really want, like just without laser removal, just isn't feasible without too much show through, or just isn't feasible at all. You know, the ability for somebody to get laser removal just opens up a lot of options for people. Like recently, like Marissa, one of our mutual clients, like you were lasering that feather, which was a cover-up, and it took a while because it was dense and it was like a cover-up tattoo, and you were able to lighten all the black up enough so that it was like down to like a super light gray, and the color you were able to get out like pretty darn well, to the point where I could still do her cover up as a black and gray tattoo. Otherwise I probably would have had to talk her into doing the flower that we did over it in color.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You know, and without laser removal, I would have literally just had to black out the whole section because it was so dark.
Cool. The crossroads of aesthetics and tattoos, I feel like we share the same type of clients, like people who are open to tattooing are also open to aesthetic treatments, because admittedly we are a little vain.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you see the overlap in medical aesthetics and tattooing, just as far as like body confidence, self-expression, that sort of thing?
I mean, really, you just said it. It's like, you know, when people come to... There was this one person that said, I forget how the quote goes, but it's like, you know, all women want to feel beautiful and all guys want to feel tough with their tattoos. So all they're just... And it's not that simple, but, you know, essentially everybody's got like a vibe or a feeling they kind of want out of their tattoo, you know, it becomes part of their personality. So like, you know, if you can design something in a way that gives somebody that vibe, they feel better about themselves, they feel more confident, they feel cooler, you know.
And confidence is key. I mean, I think that's definitely part of why I do what I do, and just that feeling of people like looking in the mirror and seeing what they've imagined themselves as is just really cool. What are your thoughts on cosmetic tattooing, like freckles, brows, scalp?
I mean, as long as that's what you want, like, I mean, go for it. You know, you just have to know it's not like a regular tattoo that like you do it once and you're gonna be pretty solid for like the rest of your life with it. Like maybe you'll touch it up in 10 years or so if you want it, but like, you know, anything that's very subtle like is going to fade quicker over time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to need more touch-ups and things like that. So as long as you go into like knowing like that stuff, then I mean, I think it's awesome. It's just like, you know, a way of people looking the way they want to look, you know.
How about future trends, like using tech for tattooing and like fine line work? I know like some artists are already using AI.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really have like, I'm not really super against artists using AI if it's for like generating reference, things like that. When it comes to just tattooing straight AI pictures, like there are people that are using it that aren't really capable of drawing, and like they're using it to create reference, but like the AI technology just isn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it tends to fuck up hands a lot.
Yeah.
It's
I
one of the
noticed.
big things. It can really mess up
some
proportions and things like that. And like I've, you know, seen a couple tattoos where I'm like, that's definitely an AI image that somebody just ran with and didn't bother like going through and correcting things, changing things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, there's tons of people that do portrait work, like, and I do portraits too, but you know, you're essentially just copying a picture. Essentially you're doing the same thing if you're using like AI stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, you should kind of like be honest with people about like where your ability lies and like if you're using AI to generate stuff for them.
Right.
Because like I think a lot of customers would be upset if they were like, if you were just like, oh yeah, this is your custom tattoo. I typed it into a search window and just picked the first thing that came up, you know?
Yeah. Are clients bringing AI ideas? Like,
I've had a couple people where they brought in like reference pictures that they had like punched into like Mid-Journey or one of these AI programs just to help, you know, and they're usually like pretty awful. And not for the person's fault. It's just,
right.
You know, they're not professional AI people
Yeah.
or anything like that. They're just trying to like brainstorm their ideas. And I think like for that, I think like the AI stuff's pretty cool, you know. I've used it to like help brainstorm like action poses or things like that, and then like taken that idea and been like, all right, well now I need to find reference like that I can actually draw from.
That's cool.
To make sure it's accurate, like things like that. I think, you know, it's pretty neat. Ethically, there's a whole lot that's like a whole giant minefield of like, you know, they're training it all on copyrighted material. So as far as that stuff goes, I think that's pretty crappy.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right, well now it is time for our lightning round, where we have a lightning round.
All right.
I'm gonna like just give you a topic, and the first thing that comes to mind, you're gonna speak your truth. Worst tattoo trend.
The worst one? I mean, I'm really tired of clocks. Clocks, you know. At least the standard, typical, like, I want a pocket watch. Like, great, people like them, but, like, there's so much more you can do with, like, time passing than do a clock.
Okay, fair enough. Favorite placement of a tattoo?
Oh, man. I mean, really anywhere. Leg sleeves are real cool. I mean, not just because I'm doing it, but
sleeve.
like they're real dynamic and they're huge, right? They're like the size of back pieces, really. But there's a lot more to like design around. So I'd probably say like leg and arm sleeves are probably like the top. They're super easy to tattoo and they're, you know, really like foot forward.
Look at me, I'm not even flinching. We didn't even get to the bad part yet. Most overdone tattoo.
Again, probably pocket
clock.
watch, yeah, pocket watch clock thing. I think, as far as like stuff that I do, I mean, I don't know, but like the current trends for like street shop stuff. I mean, for a while it was like the infinity symbols.
Yeah.
Like everybody was doing infinity symbols with like there was. I mean, I think I did 13 in 1 week. And some that had words in them, some that didn't. But
Favorite piece you've ever done?
favorite piece, of course, my wife's mermaid sleeve.
Yay! Katie. And then
Absolutely.
your next favorite sleeve will be her Freya sleeve. I
Yeah.
had to put that in for you, Katie.
Yep.
First tattoo you ever gave versus the latest one you did?
What do you mean
I don't know
first?
what
Like,
that
which
means.
is better? You just wrote it down?
I forget what
I mean, the
where
first
I
one was
going
pretty
with
awful,
that.
so.
Well, I guess
I hope I've improved.
yeah, I think that's where we were going. Like, would you choose your first tattoo you've ever done or your latest work?
Definitely the latest one. I mean, that's a given.
Well, all right. Here we are at the end of our podcast journey while getting tattooed. Ryan, tell our listeners where they can find you and book and how to book with you.
So I can be reached at prophecytattoo.com or on my Instagram. It's Ryan_tattoos. And you can book right on the site online. There's a tattoo request form, and then once I see that form come in, then I usually I'll review it and set people up with a consult and
I will
for
link
like an
it
in-person.
in the notes of the show.
There you go.
Final advice for people thinking about getting inked or getting one removed.
I mean, for getting one removed, like, there's really, like, especially if you're looking for a cover-up, like, it's always gonna help you to have some laser. Like, it's never gonna hurt. So, I mean, if people have time and, like, they're looking to get a cover-up, like, next year or something, yeah, go get a couple sessions of laser removal. Just gonna give you more options and make your cover-up easier. And sometimes cheaper. But, as far as just getting tattooed in general, just get ideas together and think about like the vibe that you want and make sure you select a good artist that you feel comfortable with.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ryan, for taking the time and letting me torture you while you torture me. I'm trying to be your beauty expert, NNP, and this has been an episode of The Markup. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe and share the markup with friends.